After an insane few weeks of sports, I figure it's time for my second installment of my contrarian sports take show. Welcome to Zakian Zags, episode 2. There's been so much to choose from. There's been chaos in the NFL, insanity in college football. The NBA's off to an electric start, and yet, I think we have to start with maybe the greatest World Series of all time. After the most chaotic back and forth, full of clutch moments World Series of my lifetime, Yoshinobu Yamamoto won World Series MVP, and he absolutely deserved it. Yoshi pitched a complete game, a 6-inning gem, and in Game 7 gave the Dodgers 2 2/3 innings of shutout ball, getting dropped into a jam a day after his 6-inning performance. He ended up being credited with the win in all 3 games. It's one of the greatest sporting achievements I've ever seen, and yet my zag here is that I still just can't quite put it above Madison Bumgarner in 2014. Mad Bum gave the Giants a ridiculous 21 innings, including 5 in relief in Game 7, after pitching a complete game shutout in Game 5. In the case of Yoshi, I think he was up against a better team, better lineup in Toronto, but similar to the 2014 Royals in their emphasis on contact and creating traffic on the bases, this Dodgers team has a million heroes they can point to for this championship. The Giants had one guy stand alone at their dynasty's last stand, in my opinion. Putting this fictional debate aside, congrats to the Dodgers, of course, but massive condolences to the Blue Jays. To lose games 6 and 7 at home the way they did, that's an all-time traumatic sports memory, on par with the Kawhi shot, for what it means to me, at least. So I'll edit that in to make you Canadians feel a little better.
Is this the dagger?
Over to the NFL, where the offseason darlings, the Denver Broncos, are making good on the promise of the spring and summer. They sit at 7-2, tied for the AFC's number 1 seed, and leading the great Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC West. And I don't trust them at all. Sorry, Broncos fans. The defense is absolutely legit. Sean Payton is clearly still a good play caller and schemer. Their offensive line is excellent, but watching Bo Nix for the first 3 quarters of an NFL game is like pulling teeth. These guys are winners of 6 straight, and 3 of the last 4 wins have been fourth quarter comebacks in which the offense has not shown up until the fourth quarter. The media space has lauded guys like this for years for the whole showing up when it matters trait. I'm going to take this on a case-by-case basis. When it's Patrick Mahomes coming through in close game after close game, I'll call it sustainable because he's the best quarterback I've ever watched with my own eyes, and the most accomplished player before 30 in NFL history. When it's Bo Nix, or, say it quietly, Tim Tebow 15 years ago, I'm going to be apprehensive. I like Bo's mobility, and his arm is way better than I thought it would be coming into the league. The matchup versus the Texans defense was always going to be tough, but he just doesn't look good for the majority of these games, and that always gets you found out in the NFL. The Broncos model is good enough to get them into the playoffs and maybe win them a game. Defense keeps it close, offense runs the ball and makes enough plays through the air. I just think when things get tough, this becomes a matchup game in the playoffs. I don't see the Broncos with their quarterback, nor with the outside weapons, even though I love Courtland Sutton, to win the matchup game. It's time for a college football check-in. I'm going to be kind of general on this one. College football is in chaos right now, on and off the field, and nothing feels certain. NIL and pay-to-play were steps in the right direction, in my opinion, but what they've led to among administrators, boosters, even governors, is outright embarrassing. Make no mistake, there aren't a lot of good guys running the show in big-time college football. They made it a money game, and now they'll blame players for getting what they deserve. The behavior on coach firings, it feels so nearsighted to me. The amount of huge openings there already are is insane, and it really makes you wonder if there are enough coaches out there. Leashes have never been shorter, and with the sentiment that anyone can compete for a conference or national title going around, there's little investment in coaches building any kind of culture at a lot of these schools. The concept of amateurism has long been a lie to keep university profit margins nice and fat, but it does feel like CFB players are being failed as men. Frankly, I think pay to play is a good thing. And the reason things may feel like they're departing from tradition or falling apart altogether at some universities is due to the stubbornness of the institutions to get on board with the new times. The reality is, the big schools are still the big schools with the most resources, which is why Ohio State deserves credit for navigating this NIL era seamlessly. And also, The NCAA is one of those institutions where you make so many bad decisions for such a long time that they compound and you're trapped between a rock and a hard place at every turn now. I think programs are sneakily being kept more honest than ever, and hopefully the short-term chaos yields some long-term stability. The NFL trade deadline also happened. I'll just go through it quickly. I love the Jets fire sale because if you're going to fire sale, do it right, and they did it absolutely right. I don't really know what the Cowboys are doing. The Colts clearly trust Daniel Jones more than everybody else does, and that's fine if they're right. And I thought the Rashid Shaheed pickup by Seattle was excellent. I waxed poetic for a while there, so I'll cut it off here. Don't really have a lot of soccer to talk about on this edition, but I have a ton of basketball to talk about on my podcast with my buddy Luke Backman over on the Backman Sports YouTube channel. Check it out. Until then, thanks for tuning in. See you next week.